This is Royal Television. We inspire.
That I'm a Nigerian is a fact, and I have the honor and privilege to be serving Nigerians via my senatorial district, Lagos West, in the Senate. Over a decade I've been in the service to the country, holding various positions. Summary, I would want to borrow the appellation of one of our governors who said he's the people's servant, and I also want to consider myself as one, though it's a privilege. I've always had my mandate from my various constituencies, and that is the way I will describe myself to Nigerians. Is similar to asking me about myself as she did, a question which I think maybe a third party will be in better position to say. But much as I will not want to go into what I think stand me out, we want to say that I stand a very good chance, because I rely, as I always do, on the electorates. I rely on my various constituents, and I'm now moving from this known constituents to a larger constituency, which is the whole state. And I hope that what I've done in the past, while giving service at various levels in various capacities, will speak for me. And first, among my co-party members, will ensure that I get the party ticket to be the party flag bearer for the gubernatorial election. And by extension, it will also rub off on me during the general election for the gubernatorial election that is in 2015. I have that confidence because we are constantly in touch with all and sundry, as is expected of us, and the feedback, the commendation, the parts in the bags that go ahead, we're there for you, is what is really pushing us, is really encouraging us, because we're receiving a lot of support and encouragement from them. If you choose a career, you want to progress in that particular career. You do not want to be stagnant. So that will explain is a part of it, that career progression. I mean, you want to move from one end to the other. And then secondly, the electorates themselves, by voting me at every election, were investing on me, and they must see that investment to fruition. That, okay, we're trying him with this, okay, let's try him with another one. They are putting some confidence in me, they are investing in me, and they should follow their investment to fruition. I mean, that is a natural progression. I mean, and for anyone to say, okay, what else does he want? It's like saying, okay, we have a barrier we have a bar above which nobody gets. I mean, after doing this, after doing that, then you can go and sit down. No. Anytime it's like you put a child in a particular school, in a particular trade or vocation, you want him to reach the height of that particular profession or vocation. They refer to them as the elite of the profession. Yeah. We have elite in the journalism, we have elite in the legal practice, those are the SAN, and so on and so forth. So in as much as we have that, in this giving act of giving services too, we also must have that opportunity. I've repeated it several times. I expect a free and fair, transparent primary. If we have that, and I happen not to have been nominated by the party members, in a free, I will work with whoever wins. That is the spirit of a party man. You don't want your party to lose, but then your party also must be seen to have played the game the way it's supposed to have been played, a level playing field. That is it. You must support, because as at the time, you see, the likely follow-up question is, okay, maybe they'll give you the Senate. I expect somebody else to have indicated interest in that particular Senate. And I also expect that they must have done the primaries for that Senate as well. So how do you take the Senate from such a person? Yes, some people will also be quick to say that has been the practice. Okay, there must be a time when you put a stop to such thing, more so when it's inimical to the development of our democracy. And APC said from the onset, the leadership, that we would make sure that we imbibe the culture of internal democracy in this large political party. And that is what we expect. Nothing more. So it's bye to the Senate. No. I must not. It's not a must. It's not a must that you must be somewhere before you are active in politics. Yeah, you can still be a politician, you can still give advice, you can still mentor some people, play your role as a politician, and so on and so forth. But if you give it a try, and I will continue to give that condition in a very clear, clean primaries, you are defeated, so be it. I've said, don't forget earlier on, that there have been progressive investments by the electorates. So if at a point they feel, okay, this is how far we want you to go, so be it. You must still be active. However, in politics, totally, in any profession, in any career, even in business, you must have your exit date. I mean, you cannot be active even as a businessman, a private businessman. There may be a time when you think that, okay, I have to withdraw, or I have to sit back and watch others. And I think I have my exit date, regardless of what happened. In politics, I have my exit date, but don't bother to ask me. I won't tell you. There's no cause for alarm in that regard. One, you may be independent-minded, but the most important thing is you are a part of a team. You are a part of a team. We have the political party as one entity. What is beneficial to that political party? I believe the essence of having a political party is to be in government and bring dividends of democracy to the generality of the people at large. So as long as what you are discussing, what you are doing, your activities in the party is to make sure that you bring dividends of democracy to the larger population, there shouldn't be any friction between members of that political party. I cannot start to say that, oh, I'm not independent-minded, I'm not this, so as to satisfy some people. It's for people to judge me. But one thing I can assure all and sundry is I am a team player. When I belong to a party, I should carry everybody along. And these have demonstrated over the years. I was a local government chairman in an executive capacity. How did I operate? Did I go it all alone? Did I carry my councillors, which are the political class, the politicians, the general populace, the various community, the civil servants? I always believe that you must be able to strike a balance between all these contending forces. If you are an executive, you must carry them all along. You must be able to balance it. So I think is a fear that I want to say that is unfounded. And but what do I do? How do I convince people that I'm not independent-minded? You also need some degree of, do I say, you must be able to be firm when there's need to be firm. Maybe that is what they call being independent-minded. I don't know. You also must be able, as a chief executive, at times you must be able to think on your feet. There will be situations that will require instant action. Instant. You cannot go back. You cannot tell them, let me sleep over it. You must be able to think on your feet. And these are what I think any aspiring politician should possess and should exhibit. And if the totality of this is what is required, is regarded as being independent-minded, I think I want to be independent-minded. Well, if you have a statement coming from the PDP regarding representation in the National Assembly, I will not use the PDP as my referee if I'm asked to bring a letter of commendation, for instance. I mean, you know what they're going to say, even without saying it. They probably won't have anything good about anybody in the opposition party. Maybe the feeling may be even mutual, and because I won't expect them to expect a letter of commendation from me, even though we try as much as possible to be objective. When we criticize government policies, we are always objective. If you want to commend that particular policy, you commend it. And if it needs some need to adjust, we don't go just to condemn. We will give them what we think ought to be done. But that is that aside. If anybody says we've not done anything in the National Assembly, in the Senate, I will pardon them, and I will pardon their ignorance, because I make bold to say that in the history of this state, nobody has ever attracted as much projects that have attracted to this state. I'm sticking my neck out by even saying the state that is even beyond my senatorial districts, and they are there for people to see. Is it in terms of ICT centers, in terms of libraries, in terms of toilets to schools, in terms of boreholes, motorized boreholes, solar energy powered boreholes, provisions of decks, provisions of equipment to hospitals, building of health centers. I have a huge number, and I'm saying it again, a very huge number. And I challenge anybody to come up with a list that is half the size of my list. So I don't know what they are talking about. And but because I don't have anybody to compare myself with from their party, coming from the state, so I won't like to flog a dead horse. The record is there for everybody to go and check. And in terms of legislation, recently, I've forgotten when, maybe sometimes last year, there was a publication by one of the leading newspapers listing the numbers of bills and motions sponsored by each senators. I think I was one of the 2 or 3 senators that came second in terms of bills and motion. So it's there for them to check. Before you criticize, you first want to check your records so that you don't get yourself shot on the foot. They don't seem to know what they're talking about, or they are playing the role of opposition in quotes, but they are not playing that role very well. Ahmed Tinubu has always been a leader. Don't mind the age difference, a father, and a role model. And he is an astute politician, and he knows his onions. He's a go-getter. Some people may think that he's stubborn, but he knows when to be, and we can also regard him as independent-minded. And there was a time I told him that, you see, the issue with younger people is when they have a role model, they try as much as possible to copy some of the things the role model does. So perhaps that explains some of one's attitude as regards to his attitude to, when they say grocery store, I say, maybe I take that from Ashwaju. When I said he's my role model, he's my father. So we have very good relationship. You cannot but recognize him. You cannot but look up to him. He has paid his dues, and he has contributed a lot to the political development of this country beyond the states. Such a leader is very rare to come by. We don't come by them every day, but he is one of them. He has operated well beyond his immediate environment, throughout the country, beyond the country, and so on and so forth. So we have a very cordial relationship. I will start to answer the question, but I don't agree with you that Fayemi is not a man of the people. Okay. But we'll let that one go. It's a matter for discussion another time. But we now come back to the situation. I agree totally with the Osun situation. I was there when we had a rally. I was there a couple of times, and I knew he was going to win. And as per the anointment, I've always tried not to discuss personalities, not to discuss individual aspirants, because we still belong to the same party. and that is why some of them are not well experienced in this game. You don't destroy your fellow aspirant, because it's still within your party. Whoever emerges still requires the support of the rest. So I won't go personal, but on the issue of the anointing, thank God the leadership has come out severally to say that there's nothing like anointing. So anybody can go out to say that he has been anointed. Maybe it's political gimmick, maybe it's a strategy. I can also go out. Maybe I go in and have a meeting with Ashwaju, and I come out and say, congratulations, I've just been anointed. And that goes on and on and on. But in certain instances where some people come out to say we are in support of this particular, is legal, it's constitutional. You've done nothing out of the ordinary. You are just expressing your preference, and we take it as expressing your own preference, which you have every right to do. But you see, in a situation where several people have been anointed, because if you look at the records, at one point it will be this man, at the other it will be this man, with this man. So it's not possible for one seat, because the gubernatorial seat is one. So it's not possible to have anointed 4 or 5 people for one seat. It's not possible. So the only solution is let them go for primaries, and whoever wins, the rest must support. You won't have any moral right not to even support, because you are given every opportunity to campaign within the party faithful, to do whatever you want to do and present yourself for the primaries. So whoever wins takes the day. Oh yes, that is an issue. It's an issue. I didn't bring in any individual there. It's an issue because somehow they are misleading some people that, look, you're better off with technocrat than politician. Then you want to ask a lot of questions. You also want to enlighten them. Who is a technocrat? What's the difference between a technocrat and a politician? And that is why some people will tell you, I'm a professional in politics. If you're ashamed to call yourself a politician, then don't go into politics. Get out of the arena. You must be able to say that I'm a politician. And we have so many politicians around who are professionals, who at a point in time are also technocrat. I still put the technocrat in quotes, because your definition of technocrat will be different from my definition of technocrat. And for God's sake, we've had a large number of professionals turned politicians that gave a good account of themselves. And most of these people become famous because of their political positions, not because of their area of specialization. So you have to, we should not allow people to start, because if you don't try to correct that impression before you know it, they will just put, when I say that, I'm saying it on behalf of all politicians. They just condemn politicians. Say, oh, politicians, they can't do any good. No good can come out of them. Chief Obafemi was a politician, a thoroughbred politician. Alhaji Jakonde, Nnamdi Azikiwe, Bola Tinubu. Don't tell me BRF is not a politician. He's a politician. Yeah. He has always been a politician. He was for 6 years a chief of staff. What's the relationship of chief of staff to the politician? He met them every day for that 6 years. He was working with them. So they should not bring this issue of technocrat. While we welcome anybody, whether you retire today or you retire tomorrow, you can join. It's also your right. Nobody can stop you from joining. But you cannot now come to say that the credential I'm waving at everybody is because I'm a technocrat. And those people are not worthy of certain position because they are politicians. They also have the record of services. And it's also an advantage because at a point in time, I was a chief executive. I had to take decisions on my own. Some of these people were never in that position. They have never been in position where they will have to take decisions that affect millions of people. That, to me, is an attribute. Because you must be of sound mind. You must be able to take decisions. Your decisions will affect a lot of lives. You must be tested in that regard. How do you react to certain pressure? The talk of multitasking now. You can never be a better person that multitasks unless you find yourself in such a position. You meet 3, 4, 5 groups per day, different stories, different situations, and you must change with their situation. You must let them know that their situation is paramount to you. That is very, very important to you. Not minding the fact that the other group that just left brought a completely different situation to you. So that is it. Who? One of the four? Or me? No. You asked specific question. I gave specific answer. No. My drive towards having internal democracy, I should tell you now, goes beyond my person. That is the feeling of majority of party members. It's beyond me. That is the way they feel. And we must make sure that there is a correction within the party. So whatever correction we want to make will be within the party. I won't run away. That is akin to running away. I won't run away. I'm remaining in the party because it's my party. If you take APC to be an offshoot of other progressive party from AD, then I would say I was a foundation member of AD till APC. I was right there when the decision to form AD was made. I was right there in the room, including the name, the symbol, the constitution, the manifesto, because everything was rushed. I was there. So nobody sent me out of such party. I have a stake. We must correct, if there's an anomaly, yes, we must correct it. It's for us to make sure that we start to imbibe internal democracy, so that when we leave, sooner or later we will leave, it will have been entrenched in the system. That even where you put it in autopilot, it will go easily. Somebody that does not know anybody will have opportunity of aspiring to some offices, and we get there if we get the support of majority of the people. That's what we are saying. It goes beyond me. It goes beyond me. That's right. I've said that several times. It's part of what is also giving me the inspiration, because I know that look, we all develop gradually, and the dynamics of politics also demands that right now the electorates are better enlightened. They now ask questions. You don't push the electorates anymore. You just don't give them a candidate and say, oh, yes, this is my symbol, this is my party name. Just recognize my party symbol, and my party name is number so on the ballot paper. Print. Put your thumbprint there. No. You want to talk to them. They want to relate with you. And you will not blame them. I mean, after 16 years, they should be at that level, if not more than that. the level that they want to take their decision, and maybe when they should be independent-minded enough. Let me bring that word again. Independent-minded enough to say, this is the person I want, regardless of, they are not obliged to give reasons why they like A as opposed to B. That is their decision. They have one day for every election, one day to take that decision. That is when they are the real kings. That is when they exhibit that sovereignty that differentiates them from other institutions. The presidency, the National Assembly, whatever, they cannot lay claim to sovereignty in its entirety. It's the electorates collectively that has that sovereignty. So they can exhibit it. And so be it. That is why it is also important that we must have periodic, free and fair election, so that they will come out as the king. That yes, we are the king. We decide who is there. It may be for 4 years, but we know that we also have the right, the next 4 years, if he presents himself for election, to say no, or to say yes. And we must not deny them that right. The voter's card is the key to so many things. It's valuable. It's actually invaluable. We cannot put a price tag to it. Not 100,000, not 1 million naira. Because if you misuse it and you find somebody you don't want there, it may, or he or she may cost you much more than that. It may cost you, your children, their future. It may cost generation yet unborn a lot of disaffection, a lot of losses, economic, political, social. So you need to use that card wisely. So the best way to use it, make sure, one, that you come out during election time, whether it's a primary as party member or during the general election, and cast your vote. Your preference, nobody can gag you. Make sure you thumbprint for your preference, and make sure you are there till it's counted, and you follow your votes to this logical conclusion. You will feel fulfilled that you've exercised your rights as a Nigerian of voting age, and that you've also satisfied your conscience by voting that fellow or that person whom you believe so much in. And God willing, we will get there. We will get there. Thank you very much.